Hello, Jose. Hi, how are you?
All good. And you, Mustafa?
First of all, thank you so much for accepting our invite for our podcast. Let's talk about data. And it is our pleasure that we have a guest from Portugal, right, Jose?
Yes. Well, and to thank you too for the invite. It's always good to have this opportunity to be talking about subjects that are close to my heart.
Yeah, that's the whole idea of let's talk about data that we want to talk with people around the globe. We have covered around 30 plus countries. So initially it was for a learning purpose to talk about technologies and architecture. But as we have covered 30 plus countries, the move of this podcast has gone into that direction that we end up listening people from multiple countries, how they are perceiving data and AI in their region. And we love to hear about people's experiences. And that is why I end up seeing your post. I was really impressed that the way you were talking about data and AI, not a lot of people talk about it. So, Jose, tell us about yourself because our audience doesn't know you. This is your
Mm.
first appearance on our podcast. Give us your background, please.
Okay. So I've been working in the data management area for more than 25 years. Uh, I've covered over that time, I think I covered almost every area in the data management spectrum, except maybe security. But other than that, I've touched everything. But in the last, I would say, 15 years, I've been focusing more in the area of data governance, data quality, and master data management. Well,
Hmm.
you can't be an expert in everything, so
Yeah.
I've shifted my focus on these three areas, and that's where I've been working for the last 15 years. Uh,
Awesome. So tell our audience as well, which region do you cover? Because if they want to get in contact with you, they will be.
well, I'm focusing in since I started working as an independent consultant. I've been focusing just to put it in context, before I started working as an independent consultant, I had already made a couple of projects in Africa and the Middle East, namely in Nigeria, Kenya, in the Emirates. So when I made this shift, it made sense for me because of my experience on the ground, of my also the contacts I had there, and because I have I think a skill set and experience background that are not widely available on some of those markets. So it made sense for me to target that. So I started. What I did in a slightly different model was to start making partnerships with consulting companies across a few countries, but not focusing only on those markets. So also the European market, it's on also on my list. Actually, right now I'm doing a project here in Europe, but I've been around. I think in projects in 6 or 7 different countries right now.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So you are doing more than me. That's amazing to hear.
Oh, well, no, but it's good because it gives us an experience because I've been working in different countries, different industries, so it's also a very interesting learning experience.
Okay, so let's jump onto our topic. The topic you selected today is business-driven data governance. So let's start from a higher level that share your experience and your thought process about first data governance and then let's because governance has a lot of pieces, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, please.
Now, what I've been, and I think everybody who works in data governance, it's a very hard area first to pitch, and then to maintain and keep effective.
True.
Okay. So I tried to try to go back and understand why that was happening. Why is it so difficult? Why do data governance programs are constantly being shelved? Because you see a lot where you have a, I don't know, a data migration project or whatever, and you have a parallel or a sideline project called data governance that works during the that process. But as soon as let's call it the main project goes live, it's shelved and it stops
Yeah.
existing. And I think one of the main reasons for that to happen is because it is still being very IT driven, uh, and it's still being well, placed in IT instead of from the business side. Uh, and we all know if in any company, if you have one area that it's not proving value, sooner or later it will end, or it will have budget cuts, all of that.
Mhm.
So what I've been, let's almost preaching about for a long time now, it's we need to start looking at data governance from the business perspective. Why are we doing data governance?
So,
Okay.
so
Uh,
you are saying that you ask business supposed to drive it. That is what you're saying, is it?
exactly. And it should be, because at the end of the day, uh, this is not just valid for data governance. Most of the
Yeah.
initiatives that we have in the data area are supposed to give to provide business value. Okay, they don't exist by itself. Okay, uh, so if there's no proven business value, doesn't make a lot of sense. So this is valid for governance. This is valid for, let's say, even
Any kind
analytics,
of
because
implementation, I agree
yeah,
on that.
yeah,
But
because even we see analytics teams that
Mm.
actually what they are measuring, it's not the impact that what their work is doing. Uh, from a business perspective, what they are showing is that they provided 100 reports, 50 dashboards, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, there's a deep disconnect between the work that they are doing and actually business results. Okay, did they cut costs in efficiency in some point? Uh, did that work contributed to, let's say, to less churn, that kind of thing? And
Yeah.
that is the link that needs to be made. And then you'll know that the work that you are doing, and everybody at the board will know that the work that it's being done, either in governance, analytics, or whatever, it's actually bringing value to the table.
Yeah, yeah. So if I bring one point into it just for our audience, right? We all know that data governance or data management and data analytics, which you are talking about, it's supposedly to be owned by business from day one. If you talk about like few decades back when this whole thing started, actually with Bill Inmon, when he started creating this data warehousing, that is where this whole piece comes into it, right? Because OLTP was always saved because it was operation, it was running the business. So they were very much focused on to how to handle it, right? But when it comes towards the OLAP part, analytical part and warehousing part, that is where this whole data governance, data management, data analytics went towards an IT piece. Should have been business, but it became an IT, right? Can you elaborate the difference between data governance managed by IT team and data governance managed by or driven by business?
Yeah, well, historically, this is has always been done by IT.
Yeah.
It's the IT who puts this on the table, uh, because if you go to to business people and start talking about data maturity, uh, dashboard and you've lost them after 3 minutes. So the thing is, we need to understand exactly what are the business needs and what are the problems that need to be solved. Uh, is data part of the solution? Because sometimes it might not be. Okay, but if it's data that it's part of the solution, let's work with that. See how data can contribute to solve the problem. And then that's why we make this, well, we need data governance because we have all the data, but no one is controlling it. No one owns this. So we need governance. We need some analytics on this so that we can have the right KPIs. But they should always be connected to that business page. Okay,
Yeah. So,
to
but
have
normally, yeah, normally governance, data governance, just like HR department, right? Nobody want to have it, right? Can you
it's,
elaborate it that if you don't have it, what are the challenges an organization can face?
well, basically it's having an asset that you can't control.
You
Okay,
can't control,
because
okay?
yeah, that's the same thing of, well, imagine one company that doesn't have a financial area.
Mm-hmm.
So no one can control the money that's coming in, that's coming out, where it's going. So that, I think it's the best example. So it does need to be controlled, and well, it is important because basically all our lives are somehow ruled by data. So within an organization, that's even more critical. Okay, so if you can't control and all the business processes are dependent on data.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't control customer onboarding, if you can't control what's going on with KYC, if you can't control all those processes, uh, you don't know what's going into those processes, what's coming out, how good are the outcomes, then you need data governance.
Okay, so the driving force, when we talk about that driving force for data governance need to be business. What I heard, my perspective or the area normally, which initiate data governance is regulatory policies, compliance, and audit. Do you think that is the only driving force, which of course business has to evaluate? It is for business because this regulatory body says, hey, business, you run your business, you make sure these guardrails are there. Are you on the same page that when we say business driven, it is the regulatory and audit and compliance requirements?
Yes, but it's valid for any other business process. If you see, let's say, order to cash, okay, it's data driven, okay,
Mhm.
and if you have issues on that process, you need to have some kind of control over how what data is feeding that process, what is coming out of it, what's causing the issues that you're having with that, and that is one critical business process. Okay, so
Yeah.
if you have issues with that, you need to start controlling it.
So when we say control, right, because as I mentioned that most of the requirements a business want to fulfill is by the regulatory bodies, right? What difference you feel? Let's talk about a data product. Nowadays, last time we had centralized approach. Now we are going towards federated approach where agentic AI is coming, right? Last time we had one enterprise warehouse, a big one data store, one place, right? And then we had one small data governance team. Yes, it was managed by IT, but as it was managing one centralized warehouse, it was still manageable, right? Now there will be hundreds of data products coming into it with
Mhm.
the use of agentic AI. So how this data governance practice changes or shapes with the inception of this agentic AI, or we can call small data products.
Well, first of all, again, and I see that there's a growing need, or
Hmm.
at least from the conversations that I've been having, a growing need for companies who are starting to roll out AI, uh, an urgent need for governance.
Hmm.
Okay, because any agent or any model is highly dependent on the quality of the data that you are feeding it.
True, true.
So that is another thing that you need to have under control. And one of the reasons that we see that some statistics that say that 85% of AI initiatives are failing. One of the
Yeah,
causes is because there's not a reliable source of data to feed the models.
yeah.
So
It's a
it's
data
great you do
quality
the
issue. Yes.
yeah, it's great you do the pilot. The pilot is it's wonderful. When you start rolling out, the problems begin. Okay. So for me, that it's great because it means more work, but there's a growing need for data governance, and I think this AI hype is it's bringing that forward because you actually uh, for any other, and you need a strong foundation, and you need to know that you have reliable data feeding those processes, and that reliability means that someone owns the data and is accountable for it. It means that you need to determine what are the conditions that say that this data is fit for this purpose. Uh, you need to know exactly who does what and why to those data sets. You need basically this is about building trust because that is another problem that we see frequently. Uh, Most decision makers don't trust the data that comes to their table, so they end up making those decisions uh, not on the what data is showing, but on gut feeling, on experience, everything but the data. So and that needs to be built uh, from the ground up, having a strong foundation of data, having it governed, having good data quality processes in place that that make sure that everybody knows that data is suitable for to be used. And that happens the same with the AI agents, because if you don't trust the data that is going into the model, you can't trust the output.
So I think you are, since ages, we have been talking about data lineage, right? And I think you are referring towards the next stage, which is transparency. That
Yeah.
if something is being done, why it is being done, who has done, when it is being done, at how many places it has been done, right? So along with lineage, you need to have transparency as well. Relating to this same thing, what is the role of our metadata in data governance?
Sorry, master data?
What is the role of metadata, not master data, my
Ah,
apologies.
okay.
Role of metadata in data governance.
No, it's critical because it gives a large contribution to that trust that I was talking about, okay? And that transparency. So having uh, very clear lineage, so you know exactly the starting point and the end point of every process and every data transformation. It's critical for that because what we see now in most of the companies is that you have even when you have data lineage, there's let's or dark spots where you don't know what happened. That's the
Yeah,
moment
there's
when
a gray area,
data
right?
jump.
Yeah,
Yes,
there's a gray.
where
You know,
data
yeah, you know the lineage, but you do not know who did what, right? And
and not
why
no
it
not
did.
just that. It's lineage that it's broke because
Broken.
at some given point in time, data jumps into an Excel file in someone's laptop,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then appears later on in the process. So no one knows exactly what happened in the meantime, and that happens a lot. Okay? And even if we have the full lineage, you know that most of the people they go to their dashboard and reports, they extract it to Excel, they make their magic, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
deliver those results. So it is quite impossible to gain trust with this. Okay. Because if you are a CFO that receives a report in Excel that you know that data was massaged by someone you trust, you might trust that data. But no one else knows what happens. Okay, and if that person that it's taking care of that Excel leaves, all the knowledge will leave with them. Okay,
Yeah,
so you
we
have a
know
huge
that.
problem.
Yeah, we know that. Remember that materialized views we used to create, that someone came and created materialized views or cubes, and those data came out from those cubes passed on to the regulatory bodies or audits. Now nobody dares to delete that. And cubes are
Exactly.
GBs of GBs data sitting over there for years and years because it is not
But
regeneratable. Because if you don't have a
exactly.
proper transparency in lineage, so you are threatened that we might be unable to regenerate it. If that
Yeah, the
threat is
most of the
there,
cases it's yeah,
yeah.
it's impossible. It's impossible.
So
Yeah.
once that
Because
threat is
there are no repeatable processes to generate that data.
there. Yeah. Okay. So now we are already on top of half an hour. Let's go further
Okay.
into data governance. Can you help us to break down data governance? That when you say you have to control, so control
Mhm.
what? Because there are many things. Can you elaborate what kind of controls we are talking about?
Well, we're talking first of all the object of data governance, which is data, and that means that we have data that needs to be owned by someone, and we have the issue that we have with ownership because it's something that no one wants. It needs to be curated. Then we have the data stewards, and it needs to be governed through very clear rules. And then we have policies, which also can control know exactly what are the conditions that that data should have, how it's created, when it's created, uh, who has access to that, who doesn't,
Mhm.
what those people can do. So data governance is about all of this. So making sure that data is usable with trust, and that's I think it's the end point for this. Knowing exactly what you have there, and it's a quality product. Let's say if we make a shift to industry, you know that you have a quality product coming out of of the line. Okay, and it's the same with data. So you know when something fails, who is accountable for it? You can work on the process to improve it and avoid that those problems to occur again. So it's a very complex system. That's why and it's not easy to implement because it has to do. It's first of all, it's somehow disruptive in the organization because you're shifting the power balance within the company because someone was used to control that, and
Yeah.
then someone in the next department starts looking at that. You need to, well, who owns customer data? Is it marketing? Is it financial? So there's also a lot of internal politics in this.
So you are right. I think you as you correctly mentioned, and I love the word which you mentioned that in data governance, everything start with trust. So once you have a data, the obvious question, or anyone has it, or management has it before they take a decision, they say, "Can I trust this data?" And the moment
Exactly.
you say, "Can I trust it?" the obvious first question anybody comes into the mind is, someone is owning it, right? Because you can only trust something if someone owner is there, and then anything which can satisfy that trust word which can be anything. Is the data is good quality? Has it been properly massaged by the right people who has the right access, privacy and all those kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Has it been joined to the right data at a right time, right point in time? So
With
everything,
very clear rules also, where
correct.
everybody knows exactly what is happening. It's all about that. It's trust, it's transparency, because you know that when let's say to make it more simple, when you look at the KPI, you know that all the process behind that KPI, from the moment the data that contributes to that KPI until the moment you're looking at, everything is fully transparent and know exactly what happened. You know who is accountable for it, and then you know that you can use that to make a decision.
So,
Because
so,
there's
hmm.
uh, it's funny how yeah, every company wants to be data driven when in fact they're not. Because
You're right,
at
you're
the end
right.
of the day, the decisions are not made on data. They
Yeah,
can
so
have some data, but they're not made on data.
yeah, so can I say that as we mentioned the word of trust and KPIs, right? Yes, trust dimensions normally are same, but KPIs are driven by the business domain. Can we say that, and you can enlighten us as well, that data governance practices vary based on the domains? Domains means telco will have a different data governance parameters, financial sector will have different, maybe retail will have different. Is that understanding correct?
I would say it's even further than that, because you can
Okay.
have uh, two telco companies with different approaches
Hmm.
and with different governance models. Okay,
Hmm.
so one of the things that I say uh, is that you need to adapt to what. There's no two companies that work the same way.
True.
Okay, there's no two companies that will have exactly the same problem or the same priorities. So it is important to fully adapt, and you have general concepts. But once you're looking at a specific situation, you need to fully adapt to the governance model to that. Okay, so it means that so something that a friend of mine used to say is that it's better to instead of having a framework, it's better to have a frame that works. So we need to be very, very focused on why we are doing that. Why is that needed? What's the value that we need to produce with that? Okay,
Hmm.
uh, because if we and that happens if when you try to have a very good framework that it's been proven, tested, recognized all over the world, and you try to apply it like that on a given context, and it won't work.
Yeah,
It
true.
will it will generate attrition between departments, between system owners, data owners, and it will be a challenge. So I think my approach, or at least the approach I think it's more effective, is to identify those pain points, those little whys that you need to solve for,
Mm-hmm.
focus on that, prioritize, and then expand and scale governance. Don't try to boil the ocean with something that it's quite disruptive. Uh, because if you try to do that, what will happen? You won't have practical and effective data governance. You'll have a lot of policies, documents. You'll have all the structures well defined. You have even a data governance committee that will meet once and probably won't never meet again. That can't don't doesn't have a mandate to make any kind of decision. And then, well, it will slowly die. So,
So So you are
You
right.
need to
So
be
when
very
we,
objective on this.
yeah, it has to be very objective. When we talk about objective, and as you mentioned that one data governance practice within two telcos, it can differ, right? And you are right because every telco as an entity has a different requirement, has a different why. So I think we are going into the same direction when we talk about federated approach and we talk about data products in federated approach or created by agentic AI, and where we are forcing that in future there'll be very small data product created by agents, right? So I absolutely agree with you that we need to have a framework which should support all kind of different data product requirements. So you have to implement data governance practices based on what requirements are coming to you, because maybe one use case might need 10 parameters of data governance and another data product might need only 4 or 5 data governance parameters. So you are saying it's top to bottom approach now, not bottom to up, that you don't need to create the whole ecosystem of data governance, whole every data governance parameter for all data you have it. Don't do that. You are saying once you have a
Yeah.
requirement, based on the requirement, you implement. Can we say that along with small data products, every data product will have its own governance piece? Can we say that?
Uh, no, let's say that it will be with something, it will be added to the framework and to the, let's say, the scope of the scope of what is governed. Okay?
Scope of the
Because
data
there's
product,
a
you have to include this.
exact because one of there's not all data within an organization, let's say, it's not all data is born equal,
Yeah.
right? So you have some pieces of data that are critical for business, okay, and you need to know exactly what how they are being handled, what is being used for, uh, and that is always the first focus for governance, because you don't need to be wasting time creating policies and controls for data that no one uses, and
Mm-hmm.
that probably if we are more strict, it shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me come towards a very controversial question, because I've been asking the same question with a lot of experienced people like you, because there is I won't call it a war, but I would say there's a conflict between software engineering and data engineering. Data engineering, not for say of data engineering like ETL guy, the whole practice of data engineering and software engineering. Because now we are going towards federated approach where we are saying we will end up getting small data product, right? And I'm on the same page that we should go take good practices of software engineering like DevOps, like CI/CD processes, all those we should take. But last time, data as I mentioned that we had this centralized approach, we had this one centralized data governance team. So even though there was non-data people sitting over there, as it was one big data warehouse, people could still do it, still manage data governance. But once this decentralized data products come into picture, what's your say about it? Do we really need data folks, data background folks to run this data governance? Or do you see that still software engineers or non-data oriented people can still manage this data governance in coming era?
Oh, it should be again. It should be on the business side. It should be the business
Should
being
be business side.
responsible for the data. Okay,
Okay.
and I think IT, and there's a lot of people probably won't will like me less, but IT is it should be a
True.
support function. Okay,
True.
it's an enabler,
Hmm.
but we're talking data is it's produced by business, and data it's used by business. So why shouldn't be the business controlling the data?
No, but the thing is, business will not lend their people to manage data governance because for them, data governance is a software. Because in data governance, most of the thing is
That's
metadata, right? That's a challenge. They say, hey, we are doing BAU. Why should we do that? So, my say is in data governance, if you have data folks, when I say data folks, people who have the experience of data world, from data warehousing, from DBA, from ETL, maybe business analysts who are from data background. My feel is I feel that those people should be sitting into data governance because once this agentic AI comes, you will not know what agents are doing until unless you know the foundations, right?
Mhm.
That's what my debate is with a lot of my good friends which are from software engineering, because in software engineering mindset is just deliver a product whatever customer need. I say yes, you should do that, but the framework or best practices has to be embedded in there. You need to know because you cannot simply go and create a product and you do not have a leniency, a data lineage. You don't have transparency. You don't have honor because in software engineering you end up creating a product because you have an end user and product is running. Once the product is running, nobody cares whether the honor is there or not. But on the
Mhm.
other side, in OLAP world, when you create a data product, if you don't have an honor, then nobody is using it because data is not going in, data is going out. So what do you feel? Because again, my debate comes back to the same thing is in data governance team, do you feel, yes, you are saying that business should drive that, but business people cannot sit in there. There has to be someone who knows what business is talking. So what's your take
No,
on to
but
it?
again, we're talking. It's that disconnect that I keep mentioning between business and data. One of the things that I think it's deeply wrong is that there is still a huge tool focus. Okay,
Yeah.
and a lot of times when we start the data governance conversation with which tool set,
Hmm.
what are you going to do? And again, and that way you're just moving away from business. And it's true. Most of the business users don't know exactly what to do with the metadata. Doesn't
Yeah.
don't know what
Yeah.
it means. So it's a technical tool.
Yeah.
Okay, but what needs to be done is to, on top of that metadata, uh, provide the business context.
Yeah.
Okay, have a semantic layer there that translates from the business concepts, what is a customer, whatever, to what is actually being represented there. And that is, well, always a challenge,
Yeah.
but it's also something that it's often overlooked. So those business users will use a metadata tool and will look at lineage and all of that if they know what business concepts they are working with. Okay, knowing exactly, well, where is my customer data instead of going by the business concept and navigating through that instead of trying to look if there's a table called customer and how many they are there, all of that. I think that is the gap that we still have. So it's important to have business glossaries that are very closely linked to our data catalogs.
Okay, now we are just ending our session. We have 5 to 8 minutes. Let's talk about data culture in an organization. So, how do you see at your customer base? Because data became a focus area in last 10 years, I would say, when this big data came in, data became a focus area. And last 5 to 8 years, suddenly focus goes to 4 to 5 years, focus goes towards AI. And now, based on recent reports by MIT and McKinsey, that 85 or 95% projects are failing. AI failing not because of AI, because data is not correct, right? Data quality is not there. So how do you see this data culture shift within an organization? Because last time, if you don't do it, you still survive because you had a centralized team. Now, as you say, business, business, business. So how important is to train business to be data savvy?
Well, training is important, but I think most we go back to trust.
Trust, okay.
Yes, people will use the data and people will use the tools that are put at their disposal if they trust it. Okay,
Hmm.
and that trust needs to, well, and it's the kind of culture that needs to come uh, top to bottom, not the other way around. So they need to know that
Talk to what?
whoever whoever is uh, that the people in the board uses data and uses those tools, that the managers use it, and that is something that needs to it's a culture. You can't just write a policy for data culture.
Yeah.
It's something that and it's impossible. I think it was done already, uh, writing down what the data culture for the company should be, but it doesn't work. Okay, it's something that needs to be embedded in our daily activities, and it's something that we need to understand that brings value to the work we are doing. And I think the only way to do that is to by example, knowing that the people that you work with and that are managing you, they are all using data to their daily activities to make decisions. Okay, because let's see that just as an example. You know that your CEO makes all his decisions by gut feeling and experience and doesn't
Yeah.
trust the data. Will you trust? Of course not.
Of
Okay.
course.
Will you use the data that you know that your CEO doesn't trust? You won't. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and again, we go back to the same point. We need to build that data foundation where you know that everything is under control. You know exactly what it is there, how it's manipulated, where it comes from, where it goes to. Okay, and build that foundation for trust, so that you know that every piece of information or data that gets to your desk, you know that it's let's call it certified.
Hmm.
And then with that embedded in your daily activities, then you'll have a strong data culture.
Okay, just to close this session, what we are saying is in coming era of agentic AI or agents or federated approach, without data governance slash without metadata, we are not going to survive, right? Because
To put it short, without trust.
without
Okay,
trust, yeah. So trust is built only if these things are in place, right? So you are
exactly.
right, you are using a keyword, but underneath is data governance, underneath is metadata, privacy, everything which makes sure that decision maker trust the data, right?
Yeah.
And that is what we are saying. Okay, I think this is a great
It's it
conclusion.
sounds
Yeah.
it sounds it sounds simple, but behind simple, there's a lot of work.
But business don't care. Business says, I don't care behind the under the carpet
Exactly.
what it
And
is.
they don't. And they don't. They don't.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why we need to start uh, speaking the language,
Hmm.
and start delivering the value. Okay? Not
Absolutely.
just activities, outputs.
Awesome. Jose, again, it was a great session for you. You want to say last few lines or any message you want to give to our audience, and then we close this
No,
session.
I think we got to the point, which is trust. Okay? And but besides that, I think it's a very clear understanding of and this is valid for any area in the data world. It's be very clear about why we are doing what we are doing and what value we are producing. And that is, I think, the key for success.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have
Okay,
a
thank
nice
you,
day.
Mustafa.
And this was
Okay, you
our
too.
first session. I hope it won't be our last one. I will keep bugging you
It's
and
always a pleasure.
yeah, and let's be in contact. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Bye bye.